Psychology says something interesting happens when you start changing your life. You don't just gain better habits, clearer goals, or stronger confidence. Sometimes, you slowly begin to lose certain people around you. Not because of arguments, and not because anything dramatic happened. It simply happens because the version of you they were comfortable with is no longer the same. There is a quiet kind of pain nobody warns you about. It doesn't arrive with chaos or loud conflict. It arrives slowly, almost politely. One day you look around and realize the people who once felt like home now feel familiar, but distant. The strange part is that nothing really went wrong. No betrayal, no big fight. Something inside you simply changed. And that's when the guilt quietly appears. Personal growth is always celebrated. Everyone says things like improve yourself, level up, and become better. But very few people talk about the emotional cost of becoming someone new while others remain the same. You start wondering if you are changing too much, or if you're slowly drifting away from the people who once understood you the most. At first, the signs are subtle. Conversations begin to feel repetitive. The same jokes don't feel as funny anymore. The dreams you talk about are sometimes met with silence, quick subject changes, or polite nods. So you begin editing yourself. You shrink your thoughts, hide your ambitions, and downplay your progress, not because you feel superior, but because you don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. But growth has a way of changing your awareness. When you grow, you start noticing things you once ignored. Patterns become clearer. Negative habits become harder to tolerate. Conversations that once felt normal start feeling empty. And once you see those patterns, you cannot unsee them. Your perspective expands, and suddenly you feel different from the environment around you. That difference can feel lonely. There is a stage in personal growth where you no longer feel connected to who you used to be, but you haven't fully found the people who align with who you are becoming. It feels like standing between two worlds. The old one no longer fits, but the new one hasn't fully arrived yet. Psychology explains why this feeling is so heavy. Human beings are wired for belonging. For thousands of years, being separated from your group meant danger. So when growth begins to create emotional distance between you and others, your brain interprets it as a form of loss. Even if your life is improving, your nervous system still feels like something important is disappearing. This is why many people begin to question themselves during growth. They wonder if they should slow down, stay quiet, or go back to the version of themselves that kept everyone comfortable. But the truth is, peace that requires you to shrink yourself is not real peace. It is simply postponing the moment when your true self needs to breathe. The hardest realization of growth is understanding that you can love people and still grow in different directions. You can appreciate memories and still accept that the future might not look the same. Sometimes the people who walked beside you for years were meant to be part of a chapter in your story, not the entire journey. And here is something many people never say out loud. Sometimes people don't actually miss you. They miss access to the version of you that made them comfortable. The version that didn't challenge them, didn't change the dynamic, and stayed predictable. When that version disappears, it creates discomfort, even if no one talks about it. But growth is not a competition. Your progress does not invalidate someone else's path. It simply reveals alignment. Some people will grow with you. Some will grow separately. Neither one is wrong. It simply means your directions are different. Eventually, you begin to understand something freeing. Outgrowing someone doesn't mean you believe you are better than them. It simply means your inner world expanded. Your priorities changed. Your values became clearer. And when your inner world changes, some relationships naturally change with it. The guilt you feel during this process is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you care deeply. It means you remember where you came from. It means you value the people who once walked beside you. But caring does not mean staying stuck. Growth often requires courage. Courage to tolerate the space that change creates. Courage to accept that loneliness can sometimes be temporary, but self-abandonment can last much longer. When you choose growth, you are choosing honesty with yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. And with time, something beautiful happens. New conversations appear. New connections form. You begin meeting people who understand your mindset without long explanations. The loneliness slowly transforms into alignment. So if you ever feel guilty for growing, remember this simple truth. You didn't leave people behind intentionally. You simply stopped abandoning yourself. And sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for your life is to keep evolving. Because growth may change who walks beside you, but it will always bring you closer to who you truly are.